Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anna the Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Kirby Super Star Ultra, a DS remake of the SNES platformer classic by Nintendo. Without any further ado, let's dive in. The legacy of the SNES as a game console cannot be overstated. To this day, many titles and long-running franchises still have fan favorites that originate from here. It's not uncommon to hear people cite Super Mario World, Final Fantasy VI, Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, or The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past as their favorite entry from those respective series. In 1996, Kirby Super Star released, refining Kirby in a manner that still heavily influences the series to this day. Jump ahead to 2008 and Kirby Super Star Ultra released for the DS, enhanced port that included updated graphics and extended the original gameplay. In Kirby Super Star Ultra, you'll take on the role of the eponymous pink puffball. Named after the lawyer John Kirby, who defended Nintendo of America in a lawsuit against Universal Studios over some dubious copyright claims involving the use of the name Kong, talk about becoming the very thing you once swore to fight against, Kirby can not only run and jump like most platformer protagonists, but can also inhale enemies and swallow them to copy their powers. Superstar was the first title in the series to give each copy ability an entire moveset, rather than just a single action you can take by pressing the attack button. This gave each ability more variety and versatility, letting you use different attacks for different situations without having to give up your favorite ability. In addition to combining thematically similar abilities into one, Laser and Spark are now part of Plasma, Fireball is now part of Fire, and Freeze is now part of Ice, there's also brand new abilities that debuted here like Bird, Ninja, and Yo-Yo. Additionally, Kirby can also give up a copy ability in order to summon a helper based off of that enemy. This allows a second player to join in co-op, which again was a first for the series. The DS version keeps this functionality, but both players will need their own copy of the game to utilize it. This gameplay serves as the basis for a series of smaller titles within the omnibus of Superstar. Spring Breeze is the first title that you'll have access to. In addition to serving as a way to ease yourself into the game, it's also a remake of the original Kirby's Dream Land, wherein Kirby must reclaim the food of Dreamland after it's been stolen by King Dedede. This one doesn't throw any curveballs at you, letting you get used to the core gameplay without any twists, and not throwing anything too nasty at you. The final boss even suffers hit stun when you attack him, giving you plenty of time to enjoy the cameos from Mario and Peach in the audience. After that, you unlock Dyna and Gourmet Race, both continuing with the food theme of Spring Breeze, as well as the Great Cave Offensive. Dyna has the eponymous giant bird scouring crops. The gameplay here is basically the same as before. The main difference is that you have a Super Mario World style map, complete with 2 hidden areas. Behind these, you'll be able to use pedestals to pick and choose a copy ability before heading into the next stage. Gourmet Race plays rather differently from the rest of the titles in this collection. While the basic controls are the same, you'll be racing against King Dedede over the course of 3 tracks. There are no enemies to fight, and most of the time, you won't even have a copy ability. While reaching the finish line first will get you a significant number of bonus points, you'll also want to collect food along the way to further boost your score. After all 3 courses, your score will be totaled up and compared to Dedede's. The Great Cave Offensive goes back to more traditional Kirby gameplay, mostly. However, this one presents itself as an adventure game, with the entire title being a single massive map. If you intend to just rush to the end, you'll find it's quite short. However, this time there's 60 treasure chests hidden throughout the game. If you want to 100% things, you'll have to collect all of them. Although these have no effect beyond adding to your completion rate, they do reference many other Nintendo titles, such as Donkey Kong Country, The Legend of Zelda, Earthbound, and Fire Emblem, just to name a few. After completing the previous titles, you'll unlock Revenge of Meta Knight. While this returns to the more typical style of stage-by-stage gameplay, this is where the difficulty starts to ramp up a bit, with more challenging enemies and a timer because reasons. As you can probably guess from the name, Meta Knight serves as the final boss in this mode, giving players a fight similar to, but enhanced from, the very first Meta Knight battle back in Kirby's Adventure. After that, you have Milky Way wishes. The sun and the moon are fighting, and at the behest of a jester named Marks, it's up to Kirby to make a wish upon Nova to stop them. At this point, some of the content starts to get recycled, with many of the boss fights being reused from the earlier titles in the collection, albeit with increased health. Although the first 2 foes from the computer virus boss are replaced with new, more fearsome enemies this time around. But what really stands out about Milky Way Wishes is that Kirby can't copy abilities in the regular manner. Rather, each stage now has 2 or 3 super copy abilities, which will permanently add them to your ability collection. Once you have a copy ability, you can freely switch between them at any time. As I am playing this on an emulator, I was slightly annoyed by the fact that you have to use the touchscreen in this version, while the SNES version obviously didn't have this limitation. Regardless, after activating the Fountain of Dreams on all the outlying planets, you'll have an obligatory out-of-place shmup level because Kirby always does that. All his games, I don't know why. After that, you'll take on Marks, who manipulated the entire situation and has one of the best battle themes in the entire series. At that point, you'll unlock the arena in Revenge of the King. The arena served as the final challenge of the original Superstar, serving as a boss rush mode where you have to go through all the major enemies you've faced thus far without any opportunities to save. However, you do get to rest between each fight. You have limited healing items, but if you made it thus far, you should be able to handle yourself without too much difficulty. If you're playing the original Superstar, that's the end of it. Though of course, you'll still have access to the Megaton Punch and Samurai Kirby subgames. But since we're looking at Ultra, there's still more here. Revenge of the King is effectively a more difficult version of Spring Breeze, with altered enemies and level design. Every boss has been reimagined with a more difficult pattern, known as a revenge mode, and eventually you have to face off against DDD once more, this time in an electric cage match. Though in the style of Meta Knight, this time around DDD honorably offers you a hammer before the duel begins. Beating Revenge of the King unlocks Meta Knightmare Ultra, where you'll play through most of the original levels as Meta Knight, minus Gourmet Race. Meta Knight's abilities are like a mixture of Kirby's sword and bird powers. However, he also has a few new abilities you can use via the touchscreen. Every time you defeat an enemy, you'll collect energy that can be used to give yourself a speed boost, call one of your minions, heal back to full health, or even perform a screen nuke known as the Mock Tornado. This mode really drives home just how short Great Cave Offensive is without the treasure hunt aspect. But before too long, you'll reach the end and be rewarded with a brand new boss fight against the fierce Galactonite, who seems like he's probably the same species as Kirby and Meta Knight. Upon beating the arena, you'll unlock Helper to Hero. If you're like me and playing solo, this will be your only real chance to play as the Helpers rather than Kirby. For many of them, their movesets are identical to the copy abilities that spawn them, but for a few, there are some minor differences. This is effectively a shorter version of the arena with 2 key differences. Obviously, you're not playing as Kirby, and this time, you don't fight Marks at the end of it all. Rather, you'll do a 2-phase fight against Wham Bam Rock, who's identical to when you fight him at the end of the Great Cave Offensive, and then the battle immediately transitions into fighting an enhanced version known as Wham Bam Jewel. If you want to truly 100% the game and unlock all of its features, you'll have to play, and win, as all 20 Helpers. My total time for them clocked in at just under 3.5 hours, that's not even counting the times I failed, which means this was far and away the title that took me the longest to complete. Honestly, it really does drag on when you're going for 100% completion, but if you just want to play as bonkers and mash everything with the hammer, it should only take you a few minutes to complete. Once you've bested all the other titles, you'll finally unlock the true arena. As its name implies, this is an enhanced version of the arena, this time having you take on all the new bosses that are exclusive to the remake. There's only about half as many this time, but you're also given fewer healing items as a result. This also means you'll be able to challenge Wham Bam Jewel and Galactonite as Kirby, and should you manage to survive against both of them, you'll take on Mark Soul, an enhanced version of the communist clown that's even more fearsome than before. But if you've come this far, then your perseverance should carry you to victory. Presentation-wise, the game looks great. It updates the look to match with the then recent releases of Kirby and Dreamland and Amazing Mirror, which has more or less been the art style of the series ever since. Story-wise, well, it's a Kirby game. If you're looking for story, you're in the wrong place, but the music is as impressive as ever. Okay, we don't have anything on the level of Melee's Fountain of Dreams, but aside from comparing it to one of the most amazing pieces of contemporary music to exist, it's what we've come to expect from the Kirby series with surprisingly competent soundtracks. All in all, Kirby Super Star Ultra is what a remake should be. It keeps the experience true to the original, but cleans up the game, and this time even extends the original content a fair bit. And like always, Sakurai made sure to add plenty of little extras. It's still a fairly short game. It took me about 8 hours to 100% everything for this review, though about half of that was just going through Helper to Hero with all 20 characters. If you don't care about unlocking the original intros in the movie viewer, you might want to skip out on being quite so thorough. Regardless, this is one of my most played DS titles, and one I'll certainly be returning to many times in the future. With its fluid gameplay, a wide variety of abilities, and an impressive array of challenges that go from childishly simple to enjoyably difficult, this truly is the best Kirby has to offer, and one of the greatest platformers out there. It doesn't quite reach the heights of Mario 3 or Sonic 3, but it still stands among them. In conclusion, I find Kirby Super Star Ultra to be worthy of a Super Deluxe 9.5 out of 10. Kirby Super Star Ultra is exclusive to the Nintendo DS. Thankfully, secondhand copies on sites like eBay and the like are pretty reasonable these days. But what about you? What do you think of Kirby Superstar? What DS titles would you like to see me review? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And if you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.